Friday, January 24th, 2020, and we got lots of breaking news going on today, folks. Too much, too fast, all over. All right, we're going to try to cover at least another article here. I'm Michael. This is a Patriot Hour. Welcome if you're new Patriot joining us. Make sure you hit the subscribe, ring the bell to get all the alerts. We go live. I do videos like this. I got other videos where you don't see me, but I got great photos and breaking things down. A little something for everybody, even meme videos once in a while. I get on a kick. But here at the Patriot Hour, we always encourage you to do your own research, come to your own conclusions, connect all the dots, do your research, listen to everybody you want, read everything you can, watch everything you can, but believe none of it until you can verify it in your own way, your own right. And most of it is logical, folks, logic. Just like we're hearing with, we shouldn't investigate Joe Biden. Nothing was wrong. We've already had, they keep pointing to these people that have now been fired, that have been found to be corrupt. But at that time frame, they cleared them. Chris Kuma over at CNN, everyone else, just we shouldn't look into it. It's not worth it. We don't need to take your word. We don't need to take Biden's word. You guys didn't take Trump's word. You didn't take the people around him telling you nothing happened. We didn't do anything. And you looked and you wasted lots of money. 3 years later, nothing. Now we're on to the Ukraine. Abuse of Congress. Doesn't exist. They asked for a whole bunch of paperwork. Now, granted, Trump turned over millions of documents for the Russian investigation willingly. Millions. Then they get onto the Ukraine thing and they want more stuff. They want stuff from Giuliani. They put Giuliani in a bind where if he would have dealt with Congress, he would have had to turn his law license in. He couldn't practice law anymore. They don't care. They put you in that bind to know you won't do something so they can scream obstruction. They asked for a lot of paperwork from Trump in a short amount of time. He said, I want to take it to the courts, let the courts decide what I should give you, what I shouldn't, my due process. They screamed, no, that's obstruction. You can't use the courts. Whoa. So that's abuse of Congress. They ask for something, you don't give it, you want to go to the courts. That's going to take too long, they claim. We're going to go ahead and push on impeachment because you're not complying. Try to take away his due process, folks. Anyone else would scream if that happened to yourself. Going to court, unreasonable things. It's like the police telling you, we don't want to have a court date and trial with you. We just want to arrest you and put you in jail for the rest of your life. You don't deserve all the court stuff. It takes too long. Come on, folks. So now the obstruction of power would come back on Congress for doing all this. All right, that would be abuse of power, not obstruction, but abuse of power over everything they're doing. So it's going to probably fall back on them. The exact same thing they think they got Trump on is what they're going to get hit on when they never had it on him in the first place. That's that. All right, so there's a lot of that going on. I hope you caught the Giuliani video earlier. We did a live stream. You can go to about to the 18-minute mark, and it's going to kick off with the Giuliani speaking. We took it to be, it was going to be a live podcast, but it looks like he's got these pre-recorded. Doesn't matter. Did he do them last week, today? I'm pretty sure they're days or minutes before, hour before, night before, but he was talking a lot about things going on right now, so it's not like they're really old, but maybe he's pumping out the next one right now, and it comes out in the next day or two. We're going to follow along with that. That's Giuliani. I know people got different mixed things on him. It's like, he didn't do nothing right for 9/11. Who knows the extent, folks? But all I know is what he's talking about now appears to be very true and real. He was reached out to. He didn't do this on his own. If you listen to his own words, that's the other funny thing in the impeachment trial. They're citing Trump words on shows or tweets. If they work for the Democrats, they take his exact tweet and they say, look, right here he said this, start to finish. On other tweets or other phone calls and other things that don't work out, they have to tell you this is what he meant by saying this. Now, he talks about the year 2016, but we all know that he really meant 2020. But now if Trump would have used the word 2020, they'd stick to it. So it's like these people are the sole creators of what Trump says when he means it and when he doesn't mean it, and he's trying to use other words, which he basically messed up and didn't use the right date. And we got to tell you, who are they? Why do we got to listen to everything they're telling us? How to break it down? This tweet's good by Trump, don't touch it. This one needs to be messed around with, and we'll use these words because that's what he evidently meant. It's a lot of hearsay, a lot of crap, a lot of none of this would be relevant in a real court of law. We all know that. It's just unbelievable. Okay, we're going to go over this one article here from the Gateway Pundit, more accurate than New York Times, Washington Post, CNN, and MSNBC for 2-3 years counting. Honestly, folks, things break over here sometimes that days later, some of the conservative media will start to cover, and then it hits big time. So, exclusive, FBI must sequester all information related to the fraudulent Carter Page FISA warrant, indicating related indictments may be voided. So this comes from Joe Hoft, January 24th, which was just yesterday evening. Didn't have a chance to get to it yet, but I read this. So it's about time. The FISA's communication yesterday indicates that the deep state's Carter Page FISA warrants may be illegal and related indictments may be voided. So an individual with the Twitter name of Undercover Huber, which is interesting, tweeted out some interesting tweets about the FISA's court's documents regarding handling and disposition of information this week. After the recent DOJ IG report that showed that the 4 FISA warrants were taken out on Carter Page and used to legitimize spying on candidate and then President Trump, had numerous material issues, the FISA court is finally taking action. So Undercover Huber started his account when Jeff Sessions asked U.S. Attorney John Huber to look into the Clinton Foundation's crimes in 2017. Huber eventually completed his efforts without investigating anything. It was a total head fake by Sessions and Huber to claim demands from conservatives. The only fortunate result from all this Twitter account of Undercover Huber, which often has some outstanding tweets, yesterday was another example from the Undercover Huber. The FISA court acknowledges that the last 2 of the 4, I have a video from earlier today, that kind of squeezed out between a few other ones that didn't get much, it's not getting much views. So I'd suggest going to check that out. And it's labeled according like 2 out of 4 ain't bad in the brackets or something like that. So yesterday was another example from this Undercover. So the FISA court acknowledges that the last 2 of 4 Carter Page FISA warrant applications were fraudulent. This means that the other 2 most likely are as well. So Undercover Huber tweets here yesterday or 23rd. I'm not sure. We'll get down to the bottom, see the time. So, okay, so at least 2 FISA renewals were illegal. And since the predication is supposed to get better, not worse, that means the other 2 probably are as well, which DOJ well knows. Hence, if not earlier, weasel words. So we got Technofog, new FISA court declassed order. It came from Thursday night. For at least 2 of the apps renewals, that was insufficient predication to establish probable cause to believe that Carter Page was acting as an agent of a foreign power. So we know Carter Page worked for the CIA. The FBI knew that in 2013. So I don't even know how any of this exists and how they're all acting really dumb about it. And then we have a lawyer for the FBI that tried to cover that up. So there's lots of things that point to this is just unbelievable. So the FISA court understands that the government have to conclude in a view of material misstatements and omissions that the court's authorizations in FISA Order 3 and 4 were not valid. Not valid. So in his next 2 tweets, Undercover Huber notes that the court is asking the FBI to sequester the data and the information related to Carter Page FISA warrants. Undercover Huber suggests that the actions in any case that relied on any of the fruit of the poisonous tree could be overturned, including indictments from the corrupt Mueller gang. So also the sequestration is a huge deal. It suggests that the FBI and the DOJ is firewalling off all of the data and information collected via the Page FISAs, likely because they realize that if illegal, all the info collected is fruit of the poisonous tree. Someone should start asking Mueller and his crew, I hear Weissman is on TV these days, whether any of their cases relied on the information gathered or derived from the Page FISAs, either directly from Page or 2 hops away from him. You know, the old 2-hop system. Excuse me. All right, I did it again, but I was able to mute in time. All right, so we really don't know if Durham investigation is another head fake. I mean, we believe not to be, but, is it another head fake like the Huber non-action? What we do know is that members of the Obama administration illegally spied on the Trump team before and after the 2016 election. Folks, if you just look at what's going on, I was saying this earlier to either Woodman Ben talking, early on in 2016, when Trump was running, he was talking about the elections being rigged, all these things. And, oh, man, he took so much heat. Nobody wanted to hear it. Obama stood up for our election process, and it's sacred, and the states have control, and they're not messed with. Now you got all this talk. If Trump's not impeached, they're going to rig the elections. I mean, but nobody's calling these people crazy and all these words that they used for Trump when he said the elections could be rigged or this was possible. It seems funny. It seems very eerily. Nothing's been proven on Trump. Everything was a projection. Everything that we heard about Trump did it with Russia, working with Russia. It was the Dems in the Ukraine. The Bidens, the Clintons, all these people have their kids put into colleges. They place them in strategic places to work. I mean, Hillary's daughter right out of college first year is making $900,000 a year. I mean, come on. They get put into the positions of power for no other reason than they're placed there. That's their job. How the parents benefit was yet to be found out. Money. I mean, it's an avenue to get these foreign donors to give you a lot more than allowed. It's basically going around the protocols, the paperwork put in play to make sure it doesn't. There's so much stuff we're going to find out here, and this is just the tip of it. Again, look at the other videos throughout the day. This is the second time I've hit this one on the head with the whole Carter Page thing. I mean, tons of videos. This is one of the bigger areas that I've been interested in for the last 2-3 years. We've known it. It's just great to see it all come out. Vindication's on our way, folks. We haven't been wrong. We've just been muted, quiet for a long time, going over it amongst each other. It's gotten bigger. The groups have gotten bigger. The videos get bigger. People are catching on. That's all it takes. All right. We're trying to wake up everybody with the truth. And what's gonna really just clear all this up is Trump's gonna release things before he ever got into office, things he had nothing to do with. So how are they gonna spin that crap? Trump, wasn't even in office yet. How are you gonna do that? We're gonna look at Biden's phone calls to the Ukraine. How come once he fired that prosecutor, which they make us believe that Biden fired that guy or they fired him, lots of other countries wanted it too, not just Biden, but other countries, because he wasn't doing his job. The guy wasn't investigating Bermushma. Biden really wanted that company that his son worked at to be investigated. And this guy just wasn't doing it. Yeah, none of us buy that. No. And you had 5 phone calls immediately after he got fired. He'd never called over there before, but immediately 5 days in a row or something like that, 5 phone calls, however that added up. Let's listen to those. There's nothing to hide. That's what they're scared about. All that coming out, just a blanket of D-class. Nothing that's still ongoing or this and that, but what you can, let's D-class all the corruption and crime. There's no reason to hide that stuff up. There's no reason. We don't need to take anyone's word. We'll look at it ourselves. All right. I'm Mike. This is a Patriot Hour. We're going to shut this one down. Keep them short and sweet for you guys so you can digest them. Share this video. Make sure you give it a thumbs up on your way out. Help beat the algorithm here at YouTube. We are heavily shadow banned. And what does that mean? Videos just get suppressed. The algorithms aren't put in behind it to recommend or do anything other than you guys manually sharing, manually liking. It helps YouTube know that you are here. And this is what you need. 70% of YouTube wasn't having access to our videos. That is a proven fact from the owner of YouTube. She came out on 60 Minutes and did an interview and talked about our new algorithm that came out in February of 19, made it to where 70% of YouTube didn't get to see the conspiracy channels. But it's all true, all real news. We've been right. You've been right. It wasn't a waste of time. All right, folks, we'll shut this one down. We'll see you back here real soon on the next Patriot Hour update. Have a good evening.